In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the specialists in Battlefield 2042, ranking all of them in a tier list. Now, this is very special to me, because the first video we ever made on this channel was just about a month ago, which was a prediction-based tier list, where I thought when the full game comes out, where would the specialists land? Which ones are going to be the most useful, and which are going to be the worst? And if you want to check that video out to see how close I got, that's going to be down in the description below. But either way, we are coming up on 2,000 subscribers at the time of making this video. I want to thank you guys entirely for being supportive for this, honestly sharing part of your day and supporting these videos. So welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you for your support. Let's keep pushing and let's see what we can do. So we're going to go down the list based on the ones that they provide us inside of the game in order, starting with Sundance. Now, I got to be honest with you. Before update 3.0, I considered Sundance to be at least a rank A tier specialist. The scatter grenade got severely nerfed for some reason, and I'm not sure exactly if it's intentional or not, but because of this, I'm going to knock her down to a B rating overall. Sundance has potential. I do like what the EMP grenades do to silence the vehicles. It stops them from being able to fire your teammates, which can save squads and allow you to pummel them. It's 8 seconds of vulnerability on a vehicle, and that is huge. They're more potent, and they last in damage over time compared to a standard EMP grenade, so they're better. The tracking drone grenades are okay, but they're really only good if there is group focus. So I don't tend to use those too much, and the scatter grenades honestly are weaker versions of frags. They have a very slow duration and long timer, so people can easily get out of the way of them and avoid them now. And I really want to see this tuned, because I would honestly consider Sundance a top 3 specialist if scatter grenades were reverted or actually improved in some way. So that being said, I'm giving Sundance a B rating. And yes, of course, the wingsuit, but that is self-explanatory. I don't need to talk about that. That's why she's so high up. Without that, she would probably be like a C or D if it was exclusively because of how potent the EMP grenades are. Next up is Dozer. And I'm going to be real with you. He is fun to play, but he is not that valuable. I'm going to be real with you. There are very situational circumstances where he's useful in tight hallways, trying to push out of an elevator. But these are few and far between. If you're playing Breakthrough, that's maybe, what, one objective out of the whole map, if that. He just doesn't have a lot of function. What I tend to use him for is obviously as a shield, as a more defensive player. If I'm getting shot from behind or something, I can just kind of like whip and turn around. But Irish can kind of do the same thing, but is more valuable. So Dozer is an extremely situational one that you can kind of use aggressively in the right circumstances, but realistically, he's better defensively. And I don't find his passive really helping me out too often. Many of the explosions, if they're going to get a hold of me, I'm going to die regardless, like C5 or vehicles or something like that. Frag grenades aren't really a problem in this game. They're very easy to avoid, and as I mentioned previously, scatter grenades not an issue either. So I don't see Dozer's passive being very useful or utilized either. So with that, I'm going to rate Dozer at a D overall. McKay, my man. Okay, so now we're getting into some good options here. McKay is easily one of the highest skill ceiling characters in the game. If you use the grappling right, if you can use it in the right circumstances, you can maneuver around a map to higher elevation points, you can get out of situations that any other character would die from, and it can put you into advantages and obviously give you vantage points that no other character can allow you to get to. This being said, the grappling hook alone elevates him to what I would consider an S tier character. His passive is honestly remarkable as well, arguably the strongest passive in the game as well, with the increased strafe speed while aiming down sight, which means when he is going back and forth or AD spamming, he is harder to hit because he's moving a little faster. This is going to really help you in dueling in 1v1 situations. So we have a character that can get out of situations. We have a character that can get you up into very hard to reach locations. And then we have a character that is going to have a natural advantage in a 1v1 sidestepping duel. So that being said, McKay is easily one of the best and arguably the best specialist in the game. Next up, we have Irish, my personal favorite. And you can have a favorite without it being the best. I love the idea of the shields. I love how that I can build and fortify. I can put a 90-degree contraption up, one long wall, a wall and an APS, a couple APSs. I have flexibility, and what I like about Irish is that his abilities basically come with 2. So I have an anti-explosive option that stops RPGs and grenades. I have a shield, and then I have the passive that allows me to regenerate armor when I just basically walk across a dead body, a scavenger perk, if you will. And with all of this, it kind of basically effectively gives him 3 abilities where most of the others are stuck with 2. And I think that adds really unique value to him. Now, it's going to take practice to get down with Irish, and I have a video down in the description below if you want to check it out. There's some really neat tips that can help you take your Irish gameplay to level 11. He is a very hard to master character, though it may not seem like it. I've spent more time on him than probably any of the other ones. That being said, I would heavily recommend you guys to look into it. I would consider him a top 4 overall, and I give him an A rating. Boris, what do we do with you? Where do we place you? I feel like the sorting hat from Harry Potter right now. Slytherin. I'm thinking so. So, the annoyance to functional ratio for Boris is really weird. Because I don't consider Boris a very valuable character. Spoiler alert, I rank him at a D. I don't think he is one of the better options in the game. I think he's arguably one of the worst. And this is for 2 reasons. One, the turret itself is not very strong. That's something I'm just not a fan of. It's annoying, though. You hate getting shot by it. You hate getting seen by it. It's pesky. It's like a guard dog. And to that end, it's why he has a D instead of an E rating. His passive, however, is garbage. They really need to just dump it and add something else. Everybody else has like 2 different abilities, or even in some cases 3. And basically, Boris has 1. I think they could add something really unique to this. Maybe an overcharge ability where I can pop a button and it'll basically make the sentry more aggressive and fire without stopping or something. Like, they could be something cool to tie into it. But because it is bottlenecked into working in close proximity with those sentry turrets, you have to use them on edges or around corners or cover. It's just very restrictive. And I do not like the passive whatsoever. Everybody else has different abilities. And this one, they have to tie in. And even then, they're not that good together. So, Boris, as much as I want you to be amazing and I can see your potential, I don't think you're there yet. I think you need a complete passive rework, and I want to see a new trait on you. Next up, we have Casper, and the streak continues. I'm going to drop Casper into the D rating as well. This one was a little harder for me to decide because I could see easily a C or an E rating, so I stuck him right in the middle with D. I want to like Casper, but with all the other passives and all the other abilities that allow you to play as you go, Casper's drone really is an extension of you, and you have to use the drone. And with this, that's one less person out there killing, pushing an objective. So there's a major drawback by simply getting into the seat of this device. And yes, it's useful in certain circumstances when you're maybe dealing with a bolt or something like that on breakthrough when there's just a lot of congestion or a lot of vehicles. But that also has to synergize with someone else willing to put pressure and kill those vehicles too. There's a lot of times where I just zap the same vehicle 30 times over and nobody still does anything about it. And that is honestly a frustrating element. So the drone, I feel, has too many drawbacks for it to be fully functional. I think there's probably ways they can improve this. The real value for Casper, I think, is honestly in his proximity-based trait. I like this one. This works for a run-and-gun situation. I feel like I can use this to kind of notify me when I'm getting close to people. It also works inside the drone in case somebody's trying to find you or locate you while you're in your little hidey hole or bush that you're sitting in while you fly the drone. So I do like the synergy between the two, but I think they can definitely find a way to make this work. I don't know exactly how. That is not my job to, but I like the passive, and I'm hoping they can just, I guess, find some sort of function to make that drone work a little bit better. I don't know how, but I'd like to see that in some way. And the streak continues. Raio, what's going on, buddy? I'm putting you at a C rating. And that might be a bit generous, but Raio is a very lackluster character. There are EMP grenades that handle the vehicles better than what his hack does for the land options. What really adds value to Raio is what he can do against the aircrafts, the helicopters, and, well, if you can catch them, the jets, which isn't often. So the fact that he can basically disable the options for them to resist and countermeasures gives him extreme unique abilities to be able to pull out the AA missiles and take down helicopters all on his own. He's one of the few characters that can really handle something like a pesky helicopter by himself and without the use of gadgetry like the SO-Flam combination or something like that. And because of that, I think he's extremely valuable. That being said, he is another one of those characters which passives just simply does not mix with this game. I would like to see it tweaked in some way. I think with the ability that he has to be able to hack and disarm other vehicles, I would really like to see if his passive would honestly allow him to repair or assist and heal in some way some of the friendly vehicles. That would be really cool, right? Maybe the ability to, like, distinguish fires on helicopters or something. I think there could be some really interesting things if he is reworked. But as of right now, the passive scanning teammates I just don't think it's done really well. I thought maybe if he can like shoot a dart and whatever scans, I think there can just definitely be some room for Raio to grow in popularity. But the passive he currently has seems like a placeholder and really just doesn't do well with the overall feel of the game. Moving up to Pyke. Queen wall hacks right here. I put Pyke at the C rating. I do like what Pyke can do. Now, I consider her to be a little bit limited. Yeah, you can obviously pop it. You can use it every, what, 15, 20 seconds. It is a decent cooldown time. That being said, the passive kind of ties into it, and it's one of the few that the passive actually makes sense. And when you're being shot, it can actually kind of alert you to where the shots are coming from. 9 times out of 10, realistically, if you're already being shot, you're probably going to die before you can figure out where it comes from. There are the few short moments where maybe I'm being shot at from a distance, like an SVK or a sniper from a significant distance away, and I can react to it and recover and possibly survive. But a lot of the times that passive doesn't help Pyke too much. And realistically, the strength of her kit comes from the ability to wall hack, and I do like it. I definitely do. It kind of lets you understand the circumstances of what you're about to engage into. Doesn't necessarily help you in the gunfights themselves. It just kind of prepares you for what you're about to get into, and that is an advantage, and I do like Pyke for that reason. I don't think it's an extreme advantage. As I said, it's not going to help me win the gunfights. It's just going to kind of give me a general area of where they're going to be, and maybe get a pre-fire off here and there, and because of that, I give Pyke the C rating. Granny Falk, here we go. So I do like Falk a lot now. I had her rated the worst in the beta, and that was because it just simply wasn't a functional character to use as a specialist. The healing was really hard to notice when people were hurt, and this wasn't because of Falk's kit. This is because of the game not being very good in terms of the UI and indicators during the beta. And I said in the original video that if they somehow improve upon those, that she could be absolutely amazing, and that is where she has gone. She has elevated from what I consider to be an E rating from the beta up to an A rating right now in full game. I love the ability to heal. The new update 3.0 allowed us the ability to see white outlines around characters that we were going to shoot heals at. I think it's really neat when people start to use the kit, because if you want to and you want to think about it, those syringes that you shoot, you can leave on the ground. Imagine those small health packs from Battlefield 5. It was 5 or 1. Might have been 5. Where you could just throw those little ones down on the ground, and if anybody picked them up, they just instantly start regenerating. Those syringes work that way too, and they leave little indicators. And you can basically leave those in a pile of friends, and when they start getting hurt, they can just walk across those, even unintentionally, and heal themselves. So I like the utility about keeping people in the fight. I like the quick revives, and I like the ability to bring them back to full health. I think that is very, very valuable. And I'm still one of those guys that would like to see that Surette pistol utilized in a way to revive, maybe like a 10-meter radius, where I can charge up a shot. Like, instead of actually left-clicking and healing a teammate, what if there was a downed person that I can revive, and I would just have to hold it for 3 seconds, right? And then I let go, and it's a charged syringe that will revive somebody from a short distance. I think there's some ways to improve upon the kit, but as it stands right now, Falk is great for dueling for the reasons that I mentioned, like being able to leave health on the ground so that, you know, if I'm in a gunfight, I can leave the health on the ground, and then all I got to do, if I take damage, is fall behind cover, reload, instead of having to heal and reload, and that's what really just makes Falk a great dueling option when you're trying to get in there and do stuff. Of course, the support role as well, as being the absolute specialist healer, is absolutely attracting for a lot of people. So that is why Falk gets one of the top 4 ratings from me. Last but definitely not least, and arguably best in the game, is the S tier Angel. Yeah, absolutely. Believe it or not, update 3.0 kind of gave him a little bit of a buff. So Angel is like the Johnny Sins of Battlefield 2042, right? He is the recon, the healer, you know, the reviver, the engineer, the sniper. He can do everything. I can run around with an ETW, I can take out vehicles, I can snipe with it, I can run heals, I can revive, and I can throw ammo and armor. He is literally a one-man army, and he is capable of resupplying all of your teammates and has extreme flexibility, whether or not you want to recoilless, you want to run additional ammo, heal boxes, whatever. There's extreme flexibility, and now that he has the ability to drop armor on himself by just simply holding the button, that is extremely functional. I spawn and slap armor on immediately, and I think because of this, he has, without a doubt, the strongest kit for a support role in the game, and honestly, it adds extreme value for the lone run and the lone wolf playstyle out there too, because the extra 20% armor is going to be huge for dueling and fighting. And to be able to sustain that and keep that up for your squads, even in Hazard Zone or other ways to play, just, you can't put a number on that. The loadout crate is huge too, not only for the resupply purposes, but also if you ever need to, if circumstances prevent you from moving on or you need to snipe or something like that, you can really tie into that and take your gameplay to another level and honestly replenish your rockets or something like that. It's just, it's situational, but it's huge because when I need to swap or I need to pull out an EMP or something like that and some C5, I can just do that and handle that pesky tank that's pushing on our objective. And I love it. So the flexibility and the versatility of what he has in his arsenal is remarkable. Honestly, he is overpowered based on what he can do. And there are no drawbacks to this character. It is all just positive. And it's just how he is. So that is, to no surprise, probably the best character in the game. Obvious S rating, probably on everyone's list. I don't even know if that's debatable. But thank you guys, once again, if you've made it this far. Thank you again for sharing part of your day with me. Let me know what you would have done differently. Do you agree with my rating here? Where would you rank some of these? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you with another video soon.